Your Excellency, Ato Solomon Soka, State Minister of the Ministry of Labour and Skills of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and guest of honor. Mr. Johan Romari, Head of Development Cooperation Agency of the Embassy of Sweden. Ms. Julie Brown, Country Director, SNV Ethiopia. Mr. Baruch Astralo, President of Ndarasi Youth Association. Distinguished guests, partners, youth leaders, innovators and friends of Africa, and our esteemed guests and participants joining us virtually. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning and welcome to the Africa Youth Forum 2025, proudly hosted by Ndarasi Youth Association in collaboration with SNV Ethiopia. Today, we gather at a defining moment for our country and the continent at large. With Africa's youthful population shaping ideas, markets and movements, this forum stands as a platform to elevate voices, unlock opportunities and co-create pathways towards inclusive growth. This opening session will set the vision, tone and ambition for the next 2 days, grounded in youth leadership and driven by collaboration. Please join me in giving your full attention as we move into the opening remarks and keynote address, which will officially inaugurate the Africa Youth Forum 2025. So, to officially commence our program, would you please join me in rising for the national anthem of the people of Ethiopia, ladies and gentlemen. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we begin with welcoming remarks from the organizer, Ndarasi Youth Association. With a vision of observing a new generation with an enlightened perspective capable of illuminating their nation and era, Ndarasi has goals that are deeply rooted in fostering a brighter future for the youth. Through their core programs, enlightenment, empowerment, and exposure, they strive to unlock the untapped potential of young people. To give his warm welcome remarks, now I'd like to invite Brooke Aschalo, President of the Association, who I'd like you to join me to invite to the stage.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a youth forum, so it's supposed to be now. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you very much, all of you, for your presence here. Excellencies, Your Excellency, State Minister of Labor and Skills, Mr. Salomon, the Country Director of SNV, representative from Denmark Embassy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Before I start my speech, I want to warmly express my apology due to some technical issue here at UNECA. We were unable to facilitate smoothly, so I want to say sorry with representing all the organizers and the team here. If you accept, please, I need your please. Yeah, so sometimes it happens. We were working very hard day and night to bring this platform alive, but unfortunately this happened. But the rest of the program will be very smooth and satisfy your expectation also. Your Excellencies, distinguished ministers, ambassadors and heads of missions, representative of the United Nations and the African Union, estimated partners, fellow young leaders from across Africa and the world, Assalamu alaikum, bonjour, salam tenestelin, good morning. There is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Today we are here because Africa's future must be built together. It's a great honor to welcome you to the Africa Youth Forum 2025, hosted at the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa under the theme of Economic Justice for African Users. This forum is not just a gathering. It's a movement, a platform, a shared commitment to the future of our continent. Africa is home to more than 420 million young people. This is not just a challenge to be feared, but a power to be unlocked. Yet, for too many young Africans, opportunity remains unequal, access remains limited, economic justice is therefore not charity. It's a necessity, it's a work to do. A dignity and system that allow young people to turn potential into progress. Economic justice means access to skills, finance, technology, and market. It means a decent work and inclusive policies. And above all, it means trusting young people to lead today, not tomorrow. The Africa Youth Forum exists a year-round youth-led continental platform, not one-time event. Our aspiration is clear: to build one of Africa's most trusted platforms where users' voice shapes policy, innovation drives opportunity, and partnership deliver impact. Over the past 1 year, AYF, or the Africa Youth Forum, has engaged young people in more than 4 African countries, reaching thousands through national and regional dialogues, working groups, and policy consultation. This conversation have moved beyond dialogue into action. Through the Post-Africa Youth Forum Policy Forum, we focused on accountability, implementation, and follow-up, ensuring that youth priorities to translate into measurable commitments. Through our Tech and AI pre-events on October, we supported young innovators with skills, mentorship, teaching platform, and exposure to emerging technologies that are shaping our future work. Just to explain on this, last October we had the Pre-African Youth Forum at Hyatt Regency with our partner SNV, in which we host different young innovators that are working on tech, AI, and different solution makers in a way that we create B2B matchmaking and also different programs in a way that they can be outlined or to share their markets, and also to create the connectivity with the potential partners of themselves. At the heart of this journey, Endurance Youth Association, a youth-led and youth-focused organization found to enlighten minds, empower hands, and expose the untapped potential of Ethiopian and African users. Endurance works across three core pillars: leadership and diplomacy, community service and volunteerism, entrepreneurship, and economic opportunity, with a strong emphasis of digital and AI literacy. For years, we have worked with dedication and resilience, and by God's grace, our impact has grown. We have reached thousands of young people, from here at Addis Ababa to Kigali, Rwanda, Kampala to Nairobi and beyond, equipping users with leadership skills, civic values, entrepreneurship tools, and global exposure. Our work proves that when young people are trusted and invested in, they deliver solutions. One of our flagship initiatives is Connect to the World, in which we reflect our beliefs that African and Ethiopian youth must be globally connected, while reimagining locally grounded. Through cultural exchange programs, embassy host engagements, diplomacy and cultural workshop, participation in global events, we are building bridges between African users and the world, expanding opportunities, confidence, and global leadership. To sustain and scale this impact, the Africa Youth Forum is now entering its next phase. We have already launched the Africa Youth Forum chapters in Rwanda and Kenya, and more chapters are headed across to the continent. These chapters will localize our mission, strengthen youth participation at country level, and ensure continuity beyond annual forums. Because most of the time it's common that to host users in such kind of convenings, but the mission behind Africa Youth Forum is not a program, but to create a platform where young Africans can engage in policy and systemic change. That's why we are trying to mobilize different chapters in different continents part. Our next priorities are clear: expanding youth dialogues in partnership with different offices, mobilizing resources for youth-led programs, strengthening national and regional chapters, and deepening partnership that translate ideas into impact. This is why partnership matters. Governments, UN agencies, African Union, private sectors, civil society, philanthropists, and development partners, we invite you to work with us. Invest in youth entrepreneurship, support digital and AI literacy works, open decision-making spaces to young people. Together, we can turn economic justice from aspiration into reality. Let's remember another African wisdom: the future belongs to those who prepare for today. When Africa users rise, Africa rises. When economic justice becomes a real for young people, prosperity becomes sustainable for generations to come. With that spirit, it's my great honor to officially declare the Africa Youth Forum 2025 open. We want to warmly thank our prestigious or trustworthy partner, SNDB, for trusting in young people, for trusting in our capacity and giving us the opportunity to show. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you so very much, Brooke. He might have inadvertently misread the name of our partner, Embassy of Sweden. So apologies on behalf of Brooke. Thank you so very much once again, Embassy of Sweden, for continuing to be our committed partner in this grand journey. The Endurance Youth Association do their job, really promote youth causes and engage in highly participatory activities through increasing youth engagement, enhancing training offerings, community support projects, building organizational capability, and developing international relationships. And they have managed to put this forum together in such a grand manner, and we congratulate Brooke and his entire team, as well as, of course, the coordinator. So would you please give him another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this forum is also honored by the presence and leadership of the government, reflecting the importance of youth employment, skills development and inclusive labour systems at the national level. It is with great honor and privilege that I invite His Excellency Alto Solomon Sokka, State Minister of the Ministry of Labour and Skills of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, to make a few remarks on this event. Your Excellency, the stage is yours, sir.
Good morning. Excellency, Mr. Johan Romer, Head of Development Cooperation, Embassy of Sweden. Excellency, Ms. Nicola Eriksson Fackel, Second Secretary, the SNEB, sorry, Nicola was not here, yeah? Sorry. Ms. Julie Graham, Country Director of SNEB Ethiopia. Excellencies, distinguished guests, representatives of international and regional organizations, youth leaders from across Africa, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Good morning and welcome. It is a great honor to officially open the African Youth Forum 2025 here at the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. I warmly welcome all participants joining us in a city that is striving to live up to its name, Addis Ababa, and those connecting virtually from across the continent and beyond. Africa has the power of the demographic dividend. Africa stands at a pivotal movement in its development journey. With over 60% of our population under the age of 25, the future of our continent will be shaped by how effectively we invest in, empower, and partner with our young people today. Young people are already leading innovation, creating enterprises, and driving social change. Our challenge is to dismantle the systemic barriers that still limit their economic participation and full potential, which Brooke was mentioning, the economic justice. The theme of this year's forum, Youth Inclusive Finance, Innovation and Employment of a Prosperous Africa, is not just a title. It is a blueprint for our continental future. 1. Youth Inclusive Finance is the engine that fuels the African dream. It is about creating youth-friendly financial policies, minimizing age restrictions, and leveraging digital solutions so that every young entrepreneur has a pathway to secure savings, responsible credit, and investment. 2. Innovation is the accelerator of this African vision. We must embrace Medemar-based leapfrogging strategies that use technology and creativity to close the development gap rapidly. Our youth are key drivers of digital finance and fintech startups, and we must support them with mentorship and funding to advance inclusive and sustainable solutions. 3. Employment must move beyond mere jobs to provide dignified and quality livelihoods. This requires equipping our youth with future-ready skills for the emerging digital, green, and creative industry. Ethiopia has a national vision for continental transformation. This agenda is deeply rooted in Ethiopia's national vision, which is guided by the philosophy of Meddemer, the concept of synergy, unity, and inclusive cooperation for a prosperous and peaceful nation. As articulated in the Meddemer State Book, transformative progress is achieved when the government and the people work together with a shared vision. Our focus is on institutionalizing a fair, transparent, and accountable system that fosters equal participation for all economic actors. For Ethiopia, addressing the youth employment challenge, which requires generating millions of quality jobs, is a top priority championed at the highest level of government. Our initiatives are designed to align our youth with the demands of diversifying economy, particularly in high potential sectors like ICT, agribusiness, manufacturing, construction, and tourism. A flagship example is the 5 million Ethiopian Coders program. This initiative empowers over 2.4 million young people with in-demand skills in software development, data management, mobile app development, artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship, and so on, directly addressing the skills mismatch between our education system and the modern labor market. This is our commitment to achieving the goals of Digital Ethiopia 2025, a strategic roadmap that recognizes digital literacy as the foundation for an inclusive economy. The next frontier, Digital Ethiopia 2030, now that Digital Ethiopia 2025 has concluded successfully, we are preparing to launch the ambitious Digital Ethiopia 2030 strategy. This now plan will deepen our focus on creating a knowledge-led economy, scaling digital public infrastructure, and positioning Ethiopia as a major digital investment destination, ensuring that our youth are equipped for the future of work. Now, I have a call for action and synergy. This forum is designed to yield clear policy recommendations, strengthen partnerships, and increase the visibility of youth-led innovations. Over the next few days, I encourage all participants to engage actively, think boldly, and focus on actionable commitments. I issue a call to action to African youth. The African youth, You are the majority. You are the assets. Do not wait to be beneficiaries of policies. Become the active participants in shaping them. Harness your collective power, innovation, and digital fluency to drive the socio-economic transformation envisioned by the African Union Agenda 2063. So Brooke, I am calling upon you. Don't scream for economic justice. Be it. Design it. And be the major actor. You are the majorities, the African youth. Secondly, to the governments and policymakers, I have a call to action. We must accelerate investment in transformative education and economic empowerment. We must review outdated fiscal and policy impediments that stifle the ICT sector and youth entrepreneurship. We must institutionalize inclusive growth. Third, I have a call to action to all stakeholders, the private sector, development partners, and civil society. The synergy of our resources is indispensable. We must pool all our efforts to create an ecosystem where youth-led innovations can scale and where young Africans find not just work, but dignified purpose and the ability to build wealth. Let me conclude by reaffirming the government of Ethiopia's strong commitment to working with youth and all stakeholders to build inclusive systems where young people are not just beneficiaries of development, but the indispensable drivers of Africa's transformation. Finally, I express my sincere appreciation to SNV Netherlands Development Organization and Enderasi Youth Association for their leadership. With these remarks, I am pleased to officially declare the African Youth Forum 2025 open. Thank you, and I wish you productive and inspiring deliberations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency Ato Solomon Soka, State Minister of the Ministry of Labour and Skills of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and guest of honor. Above all, thank you so much for making the time to join us here between your very busy schedule this morning. And the reason why we have brought you up for the speeches is that you are really pressed for time. So we would like to relieve you, therefore, give you a warm farewell to our guest of honor, ladies and gentlemen, as we see him goodbye and wishing him good day in his engagements ahead of this morning. Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. Please give him a round of applause once again. You set up a strong policy-oriented foundation for the discussions ahead and for reaffirming the government's commitment to empowering Africa's youth. Thank you again for all the pertinent calls to the respective stakeholders into driving into action to empower Africa's youth. Thank you again for those inspiring opening reflections. Ladies and gentlemen, the Africa Youth Forum 2025 has officially been declared open with our guest of honor, His Excellency Ato Solomon. It's an honor to have had the government representation as we launch this important milestone in Africa's youth empowerment. So we really appreciate the presence and the commitment of the government. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite for us to hear from the forum's partner co-hosts, an organization deeply committed to inclusive development, systems strengthening, and youth empowerment across Africa. So, for my distinct honor to invite Ms. Julie Graham, Country Director of SNV Netherlands Development Organization, to deliver her remarks. Would you please give her a warm welcome to the podium?
Good morning, everyone. Very inspiring remarks that we've heard this morning from His Excellency, who has been a really strong supporter of our youth engagement work. So we're really grateful for his time this morning, and unfortunately he's not been able to stay for the rest of the day, but really pleased to have had him. So, Johan Ramar, Deputy Head of Mission and Head of Cooperation with the Embassy of Sweden in Ethiopia, who's now also taken the Minister out, the President of the Endersi Youth Association, distinguished government representatives, leaders from youth networks and civil society, representatives from the private sector, academia, development partners, and most importantly, our young innovators and entrepreneurs. Good morning. It's an honour to join you here today in Addis Ababa for the African Youth Forum 2025, a platform designed not only to speak about young people, but to work with them, shaping practical solutions for prosperity and peace. So why are we here? Across Africa, young women and men are building companies, designing digital tools, leading social enterprises, and influencing policy. Yet too many still face persistent barriers to accessing finance, decent work, and decision-making spaces. The theme of this forum, which we've heard about this morning, is unlocking that youth potential. Youth inclusive finance, innovation, and employment for a prosperous Africa. It goes to the heart of that challenge. If we want inclusive growth, then youth inclusion in finance and innovation ecosystems is not optional, it's foundational. A partnership approach that we found that is working. At SNV, our approach is simple and practical. We partner locally, we strengthen systems, and we unlock markets so that opportunities to grow endure. In Ethiopia, our Livelihoods Improvement for Women and Youth program, proudly supported by the Embassy of Sweden, has shown how market system development can remove structural barriers, linking skills to demand and improving job matching, supporting enterprise growth, and advancing policy and regulatory fixes that make inclusion the norm rather than the exception. Together with the Endersi Youth Association, we've helped to catalyse the forum's journey from a youth-led platform last year to a continent-spanning convening this week. Their leadership demonstrates a vital truth. When youth-led organisations are resourced and recognised, momentum accelerates and credibility compounds. From aspiration to access, finance that fits young people. Every young founder I meet says the same thing. Our ideas are strong, our energy is high, but the finance is either too late, too rigid, or too expensive. We must redesign youth finance around three principles. Firstly, fit-for-purpose instruments, blended and patient capital that recognises early risk and rewards traction, not just collateral. Secondly, service plus finance, pairing capital with advisory support, market access and digital tools so youth-led ventures can grow reliably. Thirdly, gender and care-aware design, products that account for the realities of young women, their time, mobility and their caregiving responsibilities, including childcare solutions. Skills to jobs, not skills to shelves. Training must be co-created with employers and aligned with real vacancies and growth sectors. That is why we have invested in job matching platforms, digital business curricula, and updated trade licence pathways so that skills translate into contracts, pay slips, and revenue streams, not certificates gathering dust. We also support innovation with guardrails, AI and technology for good. This week's pre-forum focus on youth in AI and technology for good sets an important tone. We should be ambitious about AI's potential in areas like climate-smart agriculture, logistics and public services, but innovation must be ethical, inclusive and locally governed. That means data protection, algorithmic transparency, and open pathways for youth developers to build African solutions in Africa for Africa. So what is SNV committing to? Allow me to set out 4 practical commitments that we believe can help the Forum dialogue into delivery. Firstly, youth inclusive finance coalitions. We will convene partners to expand instruments that crowd in private capital for youth-led micro and small enterprise in growth sectors, starting with agri-food, the circular economy, and digital services. Secondly, demand-driven skills pipelines. We will continue aligning training with employees' demand, scaling job matching, and supporting recognition of new trades that reflect the digital economy. Thirdly, enterprise services at scale. We will develop support to business development services, incubation and acceleration platforms that measure what matters: revenue growth, job creation and survival rates. Fourthly, policy partnerships that unlock inclusion. We will continue working with our government partners and youth coalitions on regulatory and policy improvements that make it easier to start, grow, hire and export. Finally, a forum that leaves a footprint. By the close of day 2, let us walk away with a concise set of policy recommendations for youth-inclusive finance and development and employment, an agreed pipeline of youth-led ventures linked to investors and corporate buyers, and a light-touch Africa Youth Forum 25-26 compact. 5 to 10 pragmatic commitments. Who will do what, by when, and how will we track it? A word to the young leaders in the room here and online today. You are not the beneficiaries, as the Minister was also saying. You are the builders. Hold us to account, ask for clarity, ask for access, ask for partnerships that are fair and transparent. Your leadership is not a future promise, it is a present reality. In closing, let us make this forum a turning point where ambition meets architecture, finance, skills, policy and partnerships that are truly youth-centred. Together we can build an Africa where every young person can create, contribute and thrive. Thank you, and I wish you much success over the next 2 days with the Africa Youth Forum 2025.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Julie Graham, SNV Country Director, for those thoughtful and inspiring welcoming remarks, and also for SNV's continued commitment to youth-centered development and inclusive growth across Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, SNV is a co-organizer of this event, the Africa Youth Forum 2025. Would you please congratulate Julie and his team and the entire SNV as well for partnering with Ndarassi to put together this wonderful gathering of African youth. We now transition into our last keynote address, an address that will provide a global development perspective on youth inclusive finance, innovation and employment, and highlight the role of strategic partnerships in shaping sustainable futures. The Africa Youth Forum 2025 is privileged to be joined by a long-standing partner and supporter of inclusive development and youth-led transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my great honor and privilege to invite Mr. Johan Romari, Head of Development Cooperation at the Embassy of Sweden, to deliver his keynote address. Would you please give him a warm welcome to the podium?
Good morning. Life is full of surprises. I thought I was supposed to give remarks, not a keynote speech. And I will give remarks, not a keynote speech. So I hope that is acceptable to the organizers. I will also help you to speed up a bit, since you are well behind schedule, so I will be super brief. But a very good morning to all of you, and maybe let me start on existing protocol, but just to maybe acknowledge Biruk as the key chief for this organization. Thank you so much for the invitation, and of course Julie and the SNV team for inviting us here. The Swedish Embassy is very, very happy to be funding SNV, our partner, that in their term is then helping to organize this very important event. Sometimes, you hear this expression that youth, you are the future of Africa. 60%, 70% below the age of 25 or 30 or 35, wherever you do the cut, right, depending on which protocol you follow. I don't think you are the future of Africa. I think you are the present. You are here, you are now, you are shaping Africa here and now. You are the majority. And as we heard from the State Minister and from you, that this is really the call to you to shape and be the change that you want to see. And for Sweden, as a very small country, Sweden has as many people in the whole country as Addis Ababa has in one city. So we're a very small country. But we know from experience that young people, innovation, entrepreneurship shapes the future, shapes the present. And we know the potential of peers to you sitting here, the young people, and what you can do for development, for prosperity, for a country and for its population. And I can just mention a few names of companies that have been super successful from Sweden, led by, innovated by, driven by young people. We have Spotify. You might use Spotify on your phone, I don't know. I do that at least to listen to great music. We have a great company called Klarna. We have Minecraft. We also have the old ones. We have Volvos, we have Saabs, and you can keep on naming these companies. That are really at the forefront of driving Sweden and creating jobs, creating wealth, creating prosperity in Sweden. But also maybe to mention a bit on the creative industries, that recently, I'm an old man, but when I was young, we didn't really count on the creative industries as part of the Swedish economic ecology. It is now to a very large extent. And we have really seen how the creative industries like Minecraft, creating Minecraft, or some of the bigger music exports of our time, Avicii, Max Martin, these are not brought out only because they are young, innovative, talented men and women. They also come out and can create prosperity for themselves. These are billionaires, right? They create this prosperity for themselves, and the companies built on an ecosystem in Sweden which is very much built on trust. It's built on collaboration, on a zero exception on corruption, on a non-hierarchical society where people come together to create wealth and prosperity together. And I think this is really a lesson that we have learned in Sweden. This is how we built our prosperity. I'm not sure that you will build your prosperity in this way, but this is how we built our prosperity. We are happy to share this quite successful story. If you look at every index you can pull out from any think tank in the world, most happy people, most equal people, most innovative people, most whatever index you check out, Sweden will be on the top 10 list, or top 5 actually. Any. So maybe there's something here we can share with you. And we are happy to share that with you. We're happy to share it in the sense that we are behind you, we're supporting you in this event. We're supporting young people in Ethiopia through SNV and others. But we're also happy to share this by linking you up to Swedish private sector. We have a number of good, innovative private sector, young people, that would be happy to share a bit of their ideas on how to unlock the potential, your ideas, your wishes, the Africa you want to see, the Ethiopia you want to see. So we're happy to also link you up with Swedish private sector. So I was promising to keep it short. Now I got engaged, but let me end there and wish you a very successful event. Sweden And it's Sweden, right? The Danish flag is red and white. The Swedish is yellow and blue. But we are neighbors and we are in this together. We are happy to support you, Baruch. But remember, this is Sweden supporting you for this event and beyond. So thank you very much and wishing you a great event. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Johan Romari. Thank you for those inspiring reflections and the powerful remarks that have framed our collective purpose. Your speech was automatically upgraded to a keynote when we lost our guest of honor earlier, so apologies for that. Thank you so very much. Well, all the messages are clear. That when youth are meaningfully included in finance, innovation and employment systems, Africa's transformation accelerates.